Time now for our usual Football Friday edition of Take Your Pick. And as always, we're going to make all of our Week 15 NFL picks against the spread. And joining us right now to make those aforementioned picks, our good friend and Vegas insider for CBSSports.com, the great Todd Fuhrman. And Todd, I'm always honest with you, always honest with the audience. I picked the Rams to cover last night, so sadly, I start the week already 0-1.
It was a big number, and Case Keenum didn't even give you a snowball's chance in hell to sneak in that coveted backdoor. But Pete Carroll with the punt fake there is what I think ultimately sealed the Rams' fate, at least against the number.
Yeah, and we ranted on that fake earlier in the show. 110-100 on the season, which is outstanding. 8-8 last week. That was my tribute, by the way, to Jeff Fisher. The Detroit Lions visit MetLife and the New York Football Giants on Sunday. The Giants are favored by 4 in this one. Todd Fuhrman, take your pick.
It's always dangerous to lay points with a Giants offense that you're not sure what you're going to get. Will Eli turn the ball over 3 times? Will they be able to run the ball for more than 50 yards? But I think here I'm going to rely on the Giants defense to make for a long afternoon on Matt Stafford and that sore hand. I know the practice report said he spun it just fine with a fingerless glove, but I think the Giants know what's at stake here. They're not just going to win by a field goal. They're going to get outside that number, and there will be no comeback from Detroit at MetLife Stadium. Give me Big Blue minus the 4.
You know, I talked earlier in the show, Todd, how this is a game you could spin, ebb and flow 7 different ways, okay? And, you know, you referenced something that I think is important here. I don't trust Eli Manning. I don't trust Eli Manning in the wind and the cold. I don't trust that offensive line. I don't trust the receivers who aren't Odell Beckham Jr. I don't trust Rashad Jennings. I just don't trust the Giants offense. Now, the defense, absolutely. Now, I think that when it's all said and done, the Giants will win, but I'm going to grab the points here. I don't feel great about it because of Stafford's finger. We talked about that earlier, but I'm going to take Detroit to cover the Giants with a needed victory. The Packers, road favorites in Chicago on Sunday. Green Bay favored by 5.5. Todd Fuhrman, take your pick.
Don't look now, but the Chicago Bears are lining people's pockets just in time for the holiday season. 4 straight covers despite going 1-3 straight up during that stretch. We've seen a lot of the teams at the bottom of the standings not show up for a lot of football games, but the Bears weren't one of them. Last week, they pushed Detroit to the brink. This week, to go home to Soldier Field against their hated rivals in the Green Bay Packers. Backs against the wall. I use that term relatively loosely. Frigid temperatures. Matt Barkley will get the services of Alshon Jeffrey back. I'm not going to call for the Bears to derail this Green Bay win party as they head towards the playoffs, but I do think the Bears can slide inside that number, mainly because I don't think Aaron Rodgers is anything close to even 75%.
I give you credit, Todd Fuhrman. You told a heck of a story. I'm going to label it as fiction, though. I mean, my goodness. Todd, I hear you. That was a tremendous effort. That was great. And Matt Barkley has done a heck of a job. Never thought I'd say that, but it's true. It's Aaron Rodgers. By the way, the defense is playing really strong football. Morgan Burnett and company for Green Bay. Did I mention it's Aaron Rodgers? Oh, by the way, the Bears have packed it in. They're an expansion team. Oh, did I mention Aaron Rodgers? I'll take the Packers to win and the Packers to cover. Can't wait for this game. The Titans are at Arrowhead on Sunday, Todd. Taking on the Chiefs on CBS. Can't wait for it. Kansas City, 5.5-point favorites in this one. Todd Fuhrman, take your pick.
A fascinating matchup, Adam, knowing what's at stake as far as playoff implications. And the 2 things that I really want to watch. Kansas City's aerial attack against that Tennessee Titans secondary that's been susceptible to the big play all season long. And I want to see how Kansas City's rush defense looks retooled without the services of Derek Johnson there to anchor their linebacking core against the Tennessee Titans. 3-headed monster with Derrick Henry, DeMarco Murray, and Marcus Mariota. Don't love what I saw to Mariota last week against Denver, 6 of 20 passing. And Marcus hasn't been shy about sharing the fact he doesn't think he's ever played in a game where the temperatures were below 40 degrees. Well, he'd love 40 degrees here in Arrowhead. But I think in what could be a lower scoring game than people think, Tennessee's ability to control the clock, hit a home run or 2 in the ground game will allow them to slide inside the number. It's always tough to fade the Chiefs at Arrowhead, but Kansas City wins, Tennessee covers.
Yeah, Todd, we're sharing a brain on this, and listen, I'm with you. I don't want to sit here and fade the Chiefs at Arrowhead either, to use the Todd Fuhrman lingo, but Look, this game to me is going to be phenomenal. Can't wait to watch it. It's what December football is all about. I feel like this game has 17-16, 2017 written all over it. Great job by you, by the way, mentioning the Derek Johnson injury. I don't think that's getting enough play. I think Murray is going to be effective on the ground. Chiefs win. Give me Tennessee with the points. The Denver Broncos host the New England Patriots on CBS. Can't wait for it. Tom Brady and the Patriots, Todd Fuhrman. 3-point road favorites. Take your pick.
Short week for Tom Brady and company heading into what's been a house of horrors for them. And so much will be made, Adam, about the quarterback matchup. Tom Brady against Trevor Siemian. But Tom Brady's lost to worse Denver Broncos quarterbacks in the past. Heck, he lost to Peyton Manning in a similar spot in a game that meant a lot more last year when Peyton essentially could throw the ball 15 yards downfield. I don't love the fact that Denver's run defense has been susceptible to a bruising physical back, so I think LeGarrette Blount can have some success. But when you look at Tom Brady and his weapons, give me Aqib Talib and Chris Harris to clamp down on those guys on the outside. And Denver backed into the corner, playing with the heart of a champion. I'll take the better defense, catching points in their own building. Give me the Denver Broncos +3. Trevor Siemian's legs are what makes the difference here.
Wow, we completely disagree on this one, but you just hit home how Denver would win the game and or cover if they do. We talked about Siemian and Belichick earlier in the show. Great point on LeGarrette Blount. I mean, great point. You didn't listen to yourself, but great point on LeGarrette Blount going up against that Denver defense. I think he's going to be a factor, and Tom Brady knows what I know, what you know, what everyone knows about that record in Denver. When Tom Brady's angry, you don't want to be in his way, especially this year. I'm going to take the New England Patriots to win and cover. Let's say the Patriots by a touchdown. My Oakland Raiders favored by 3 in San Diego against the Chargers. And look, I think you know where I'm going to go with this one, but, you know, Todd, you every week on Time to Shine, you pick against the Raiders, so go ahead. I can't wait to hear you sell this. Todd Fuhrman, take your pick.
Adam, I couldn't be happier when I sat last Thursday night and I watched the Raiders on 3rd and 1 inside the 30-yard line throw a fade pattern, then take a false start and come up just a bit short in their trip to Arrowhead. It was even better on Thursday because I've had 8 days to gloat on this cover for Kansas City, and I'm going to go right back to the well and fade the Oakland Raiders one more time. This number, had this game been played last Sunday, the Chargers would have been a 1-point favorite. You've seen the market shift a ton given the Chargers' lethargic performance in Charlotte against the Panthers. This is their Super Bowl. Phillip Rivers knows how painful it was to go up to Oakland and let that game slip through his fingers. No Melvin Gordon. It changes things a little bit for San Diego, but he's not the game changer that I was worried about missing the game. That was Joey Bosa on the defensive side. It'll be Joey Bosa, the rookie, stealing headlines, wreaking havoc on Derek Carr. The Chargers will be smart. They'll limit the effectiveness of Khalil Mack. They'll be able to get pressure on Carr. I think the Chargers win this game outright and spoil the Raiders' party down in Southern California.
Todd Fuhrman, you are such a hater. It is unbelievable. I can't believe it. I don't get it. I mean, you wanted to tell me on the Chiefs last week. That's fine, but this is a pseudo home game. The Chargers were practicing with crowd noise this week because Raider Nation's going to be omnipresent. We broke this game down earlier in the show. I'm so sick and tired of people like you, Todd Fuhrman, just ripping the Oakland Raiders, not giving them respect. My goodness. The Oakland Raiders are going to win by 2 touchdowns. They're going to take care of business against the San Diego Chargers. Sunday Night Football, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers visiting the Dallas Cowboys. The Cowboys favored by 7. Todd Fuhrman, take your pick.
I don't think I've been more excited, Adam, to watch a Sunday Night Football game in quite some time than watching the white-hot Tampa Bay Bucs go up against the all-of-a-sudden vulnerable Dallas Cowboys. Dallas mired in a 3-game losing skid, not outright, but against the spread. In this business, that's all that matters. Meanwhile, Tampa Bay doing everything they can to cover numbers. But this is where you sell high on a stock, and that's what I'll do with Tampa because their run defense has been susceptible. You look over the last couple games in this win streak, I know the total points allowed has been phenomenal, but they're giving up nearly 4.5 yards per carry. The recipe for Dallas to be successful, establish Ezekiel Elliott on the ground, set up play action, and I think Dak Prescott knows he's got to do a little bit of looking over his shoulders for Tony Romo breathing down his neck. Dak will look like the guy we saw weeks 1 through week 10, makes a few plays with his legs. The Cowboys win convincingly and remind us why they're going to be the #1 seed in the NFC playoffs.
And listen, I love the Cowboys. I think they're going to go to the Super Bowl, and I'm with you. I'm so pumped for this game. But I think Tampa's legit. Look at their defense, Todd Fuhrman, and what they've done in Arrowhead and what they did to Russell Wilson and back-to-back future Hall of Famers, Phillip Rivers, Drew Brees. Dallas will win. Give me Tampa Bay to cover. The Josh Norman revenge game on Monday night. The Carolina Panthers visiting the Washington Redskins. Redskins favored by 6.5. Todd Fuhrman, take your pick.
Adam, this number's been on the climb. It actually opened much closer to 4, and you've seen a steady flow of money coming on the homebound Redskins. And I think as the number gets ever so close to 7, sitting at 6.5, I'm going to make a case for the dog here. I think Carolina would love nothing more than to kind of silence Josh Norman as best they can. Unless Josh Norman goes out there, plays offense, plays all 22 positions, a la Bugs Bunny in the old school cartoons, I'm not sure the Redskins will be able to match the intensity that Carolina will bring. I don't love what I've seen from Cam Newton. I don't love what I've seen from the Panthers on the whole, and I do worry about their secondary. But at the same time, I think they'll be able to run the ball enough against the Redskins, keep this game close. They won't win, but they'll get you the cash at the window.
Great job with the Bugs Bunny reference, Todd Fuhrman. Listen, if Carolina had Bugs Bunny to replace Josh Norman, maybe we could talk about rescinding the franchise tag, but they had a couple of neophytes and never will be's. And in a related story, Titanic Ron has sunk the Carolina Panthers. You like that? You like that? Kirk Cousins is going to absolutely shred Josh Norman's old defensive backfield. 2 interceptions for Josh Norman against Cam Newton. 35-17, the Washington Redskins. Let's take a look at the rest of our picks for a huge week number 15. I'm rolling with the Dolphins. Todd Fuhrman has the Jets. We disagree on Baltimore and Philly. I think Andrew Luck will do enough to cover. I'm going to roll the dice on the Browns, not to win, but with the points. Todd Fuhrman going with Buffalo. We both think Jacksonville will cover. We both think that Pittsburgh will take care of business. I've got the Cards. Todd Fuhrman with the Saints. Todd thinks San Fran is going to cover. I'm rolling with the Atlanta Falcons. As we always do, we want to remind our viewers to check out Todd's Bet the Board podcast. Of course, found at bettheboardpodcast.com. Todd, as always, good luck this weekend, and we'll talk to you again next week.